17, but they have.
Oh yes.
I just wanted to get. But they don't.
Maybe they don't. You know, when I did it, it wasn't like it was now. It was like a major thing now. There was months that I wouldn't have been.
It's too expensive.
Like more than a wedding.
It was expensive. Yeah. But they're supposed to. Oh, I just wasn't that.
I'm pretty bad. I'm not even getting up to know everybody.
I was talking to him last night. I remember seeing it.
Step into a time capsule. Close your eyes. You're back in classroom E126. I'll give Janet a cane so she can pull me off stage anytime you've had enough. Without further ado then, let us wander down memory lane. Here I am in good old classroom E126. I think I'm demonstrating to the journalism class the proper technique for using an X-Acto knife. You'll be relieved to know that my finger healed nicely with only 6 stitches. See if you can place this one. Water, water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. Water, water everywhere, the very boards did shrink. Ah, well a day. I'm not sure what I was doing in this one. It looks as if I was actually trying to be serious. I generally try to avoid that kind of thing, as you know, but it did happen occasionally. Speaking of serious, I ask you, does that not look as if I was up to some kind of nefarious plot and the principal walked into E126? Of course, we never hatched any nefarious plots. Does this ring a bell with anybody? Remember that? Here I'm in it. Gong! I really have a sound effect. After all these years, you remember me and those awful puns? You'll need to bear with me, even if it gets really grisly. I've been in hibernation a long time, but I'm back and I'm bipolar. This has to be Brave New World. Look, I can even recognize the book. I still have that book. I really do. Here it is, right here. In fact, too bad. Orgy, porgy, fun and fun. Kiss the girls and make them one. Boys at one with girls at peace. Orgy, porgy. Gives relief so much, so much, so much. You remember the time that we took that show on the road? 4th period Brit Lit. We actually stormed out of the classroom, marched around the quadrangle, repeating that chant so much, about 180 decibels. Within 30 seconds, every classroom had emptied except for Mr. Phillips and Gomez. And only 2 that kept us. They just thronged all over to see what the hell was going on at E126. You know, this was actually a legitimate classroom demonstration illustrating the dangers of mob psychology, but they didn't see it that way in administration. I got a dean's referral. I had to serve detention for that. Do you remember the star system? For a particularly brilliant comment on literature, you earned a gold star. For a slightly less brilliant comment, you got a silver. For exceptional service in the line of duty on the English skills log or the word power log, you won a bronze. And for a tacky and unsuccessful cheap attempt at a star, you got a tin star. And for comma splices, subject-verb disagreements, false interpretations of literature, and stupid comments in general, you won the coveted black. Only one student ever got all the way through my Brit Lit class with 0 stars. That was John Zach. So I gave him a black star on the next to last day of class for no reason whatsoever, and he was pissed. I mean, he was really not happy about that. So, you know, it wasn't fair. So on the last day of class, I restored his star virgin status. Ah! Do you remember the big trial? It made the Casey Anthony and O.J. Simpson trials pale by comparison. To refresh your memory, Mark Betty and Richard Crane had a really tough senior academic class called Office Assistant, where they had to walk around collecting the attendance slips off the classroom door. These were the basketball heroes. Everybody doesn't recognize them, so they were a big deal. They came in the class. And we tested them on their memory because they had had Brit Lit the year before to see if they remembered Beowulf and the important things in life. And we kept score on the blackboard. Well, they may have been good in basketball, but that scoreboard was looking pretty bad. It was like 3 wins and 18 losses. And suddenly, though, they decided that they could do better if they went outside the classroom to powwow for a little bit. So next thing you know, they run off 20 straight answers in a row. Now, Dutchie Moulton smelled a rat. And sure enough, that rat turned out to be Mrs. Lucas. In the next classroom over, she was aiding and abetting them. You know, we really had no choice. Mrs. Lucas was a very nice lady and a great teacher. But for an egregious breach of academic protocol of this nature, it could not go unpunished. So we indicted her on charges of second-degree felony collusion with 2 all-state basketball players to commit academic fraud. For weeks, all the talk was about this trial. Finally, the big day came. Gomez was the judge. Mrs. Lucas was on the stand as the defendant. She took her handkerchief and had put it in the water fountain, and she was wringing it out. And Mark and Richard were the defense attorneys, and Dutchie was the prosecuting attorney. We pulled back the divider in E125 and 126, and the place was jammed. The people hanging from the rafters, the flashbulbs popping. I mean, it was just unbelievable. The tension was palpable as Gomez rammed her gavel down on the desk. Just when the jury came in and we were getting ready with the handcuffs, the stunt with the handkerchief worked. And Mrs. Lucas copped the plea. Then, last night, after all these years, 35 years at Juice and Java, under the influence of several juices, Mark Betty confessed to having hidden in the supply room in the corner of E126. Richard boosted him up, and he looked through the slats, and then they ran down to the office to Vicki Latta, who was a Brit Lit student with a straight A, and got the answers that way. And get this, D. Lucas caught them doing this. And so they gave her this thing, oh, we're really sorry, we're reformed, don't turn us in, and she didn't. So when they got caught, they let her take the fall for it. Can you believe that? After all these years. Now, DNA evidence has confirmed that from the greats up in the... all these years, we learned that we convicted and destroyed the reputation of an innocent woman.